Hi there, Diecast fans. What we have here is a Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 8 in 1:18 scale by Jada or Jada to some people. Now, when you say Lancer Evolution, there are gonna be a lot of things related popping into your mind. Well, let me start with you first. Of course, there are gonna be video games like Need for Speed, Gran Turismo, and the WRC, the World Rally Championship, and of course, the movie itself. As you can see, where this diecast was based upon to. Now, regarding about the technical specification of this car, its historical backgrounds on world of rallying, there are gonna be lots of them on the internet. Just search them. There's gonna be, I think, thousands of information about the Lancer Evolution. About the car itself, this is not just an ordinary Mitsubishi Lancer as you can see here. Now, this was based upon the movie The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. As you can see, the color and the graphics that this is Sean's Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8. Wow, when you say Lancer Evolution or JDM, this diecast really represents it and really screams out the sponsors right there, especially with those brand names, aftermarket manufacturers right there. And there's no doubt this diecast model is gonna catch your attention immediately with those very big alloy rims right there, the tall spoiler as you can see on the rear, and of course the exaggerated graphics. And if you look closely to the diecast model itself on the interior, there are gonna be lots of surprises which we will go into as we review this diecast model. Just take a look at the big front bumper of this Lancer Evo. As you can see there, the body kit itself, it's of course it's aftermarket, and this bumper itself is integrated also to the entire body shell of the diecast model. And you might notice also the sponsors right there, manufacturers of aftermarket wheels, and of course the headlight itself. Now the headlight has some cheapening methods that Jada used. As you can see there's a peg on it, but it's a separate piece with the projector lamps represented quite very well for a Lancer Evo, and the grille with the shade with no logo on it. I think this is a shaved grille. There's a grille also right there. It's texturized. You cannot see through, and of course that very obvious, very big intercooler turbo in chrome. And they also had this. It's like a support for the skirt itself, but it's made out of metal, so don't worry, they're sturdy enough. Let's pop the hood. What's inside of this engine bay? So we lift the hood with no special tools required, and you're gonna be greeted with lots and lots of chrome parts on it. So as you can see, this is Jada's approach when it comes to engine detailing. Now, if you owned a previous models of or had a 1:24 or 1:18 scale diecast model made by Jada, this engine detailing with lots of chrome on it is nothing new. Most of their diecast models had this kind of detailing, this finish, this plastic chrome finish on it. As you can see, the anti-sway bar, the valve cover, even the exhaust manifold shield, and even the airbox and the battery is finished in chrome. So for me, this is not my taste. I wanted a stock looking engine on it. I've been planning to color this valve cover in red just to distinguish this as a high performance engine. Now it's too much bling on it, as they say. But then again, at least Jada provided it with an engine bay. Now this is made out of plastic slab, I forgot to mention. There are gonna be some plumbings and wirings and some parts as expected for an engine bay. But then again, at least I could say it's well presented. You can color or you could change the color if you want to dismantle the diecast. It's possible, you can do it. My fellow diecast collectors, behold, just look at those wheels. I love how Jada made the outer rim itself in chrome and then finished this with the gray graphite color on it. It's not too dark, it's not too light at the same time. And for me, the wheels really looks good at every angle. This wheels itself, it's so photogenic. When you take a picture on it, instantly For me, it looks gorgeous and beautiful. Look at those wheels as we try to zoom in. There you go. And if you notice, of course, the aftermarket wheels needed aftermarket brakes. There's no brand on the brake calipers on it. They could have done that. They could have put some aftermarket brands on the brake calipers just to complete the look. But then again, they didn't. At least you got a cross-drilled rotor disc for the brake system. And the tires, of course, this is an aftermarket. It's going to be on low profile. It's got some treads on it. Looks very good, as you can see on the camera. And you can see also the graphics right there is well finished. And the blistered body kit on the fender, it's really well made, and the finish is excellent. Wow, those wheels are really something on the front. Now let's try to take a glance on the side profile of this diecast model. So you can see the graphics. Let me just say that this is not made out of sticker. It's a tampo, so cleaning this is going to be safe. As you can see, there's the sponsors on the side skirts and on the rear door. Also some brand names of aftermarket parts. Sponsors, of course. And you can see the rear wheels. Now, it's got a staggered size wheels. A narrow tires on the front and wider tires at the back. I thought that most all-wheel drive cars had the same tire width, but this had a staggered size for some reason. Again, that's Jada's approach of designing this diecast model. So you could see there the same approaches as expected on the front, with those very big rotor disc and the caliper with no brands, of course. And since this is a wider wheel, so you could see there the chrome finish on it, which is an excellent chrome finish, by the way. And the color of the inner rim itself in graphite, which is really looks good at the same time. Fast and the Furious, just there on the license plate right there. And we take a peek on the rear part of this diecast model. So they're gonna be sponsors again. They saying it twice, as you can see there, and also the Mitsubishi logo and the chrome pipe on it. I think this is a diffuser. It's quite narrow, I think, for a diffuser. For some reason they did that. I don't know why. And let's take a peek on the what's inside the trunk. So you can see there are lots of aftermarket parts right there. I don't know if you can see those. Gonna be subwoofers, amplifiers, and a nitrous bottle on it. You cannot lift the entire trunk that much because that's how they designed this diecast model. But at least gonna be some goodies under the trunk itself. And let's not forget about the very big and tall black spoiler right there on the rear part of this diecast. It's hanging and it's made out of one giant big plastic right there. It's just a one-piece plastic. And you can also see, I think this is gonna be an aftermarket tail lamp. It had some separate pieces, you can see there, with a transparent red lens on it, made out of acrylic plastic, I think, and those chrome bits on the inside just to represent the tail light itself. Now there's gonna be no pegs, I think. Now there might be, but it's hardly to be seen, or some adhesives, I think, that they just put into. Even the side profile of this diecast model is really photogenic thanks to those beautiful alloy rims right there. So let's take a peek inside the diecast model. So we start to the left part on the driver's side. They use these dogleg hinges on the door, which really I don't like. But then again, it's them. At least it's not falling yet. So if we try to zoom in to look closer, so you can see there's an aftermarket gauge on top of the dashboard, an aftermarket steering wheel, which is colored in black. Maybe this is definitely going to be customizable if you want to add some colors on it. And the chrome pedals right there. Of course, it's got a stick shift. You're going to have a manual transmission. And those floor mats, it's a separate piece plastic, but they glued it into the flooring of the diecast model. So you can see the center console is colored white, for some reason, and the gear selector or the gear shifter shift knob is in chrome. As you can see there, that's the racing seats for this diecast model for the Lancer Evo 8. Now it's made up of glossy finish on it. I don't know why they made this kind of glossy finish on the racing seats. It really looks plasticky. It really looks hard. It really doesn't really convinces me at the same time. But at least it's got a well-detailed racing harness. You could see the buckles right there colored in silver, and also right there in the middle. Also on the right portion, it's going to be racing glossy red bucket seats. Now, going to the right part of this diecast model. So the first thing that you will notice, no, I'm not capturing this on a mirrored settings. These are the actual graphics on the right side of this diecast model. For some reason, Jada just reversed the image just to make sure the alignment, or maybe it's a question of production itself. They could have reversed it using some softwares, but they didn't bother to do that. I don't know why. So in the right side is gonna be some reversed logos of the aftermarket manufacturers and the graphic itself, as you can see there. Now going to the right passenger side of this diecast model, so you could see there, we try to zoom in again, and you could see there, right there, on the front of the gear selector is an LCD monitor. That was a popular option back then, but most cars today had one of those. And the floor mats, as you can see. And if you take a look on the rear passenger side of this diecast model, there's another nitrous bottle on the middle, and a set of subwoofer speakers right there on the rear, so the passenger might get deaf if you try to, play some soundtracks on it. But then again, that's Jada, that's their styling. What can I say? Now let's take a quick peek on the under chassis of these diecast models for those who are curious what's underneath. So we flip the diecast over. As I mentioned before, it's got a staggered size for 4 wheels, so narrow at the front and wider on the back, and also the obvious chrome finish single exhaust system. So you could see there, I think the catalytic converter and some writings on it highlighted in white font. You could easily see the Universal Studios licensing on it. Also included the Mitsubishi licensing, and of course the Jada logo. And on the rear, this is just a big plastic slab really, and you can see there the aftermarket exhaust system covered in chrome. My verdict for this diecast model, there's no doubt that this diecast model is gonna get your attention immediately, as I said before, especially with those wheels. That's Jada's approach on how to get your attention immediately amongst any other diecast models sold into your local toy store or in your local hobby shop. For some, still prefer the stock looking diecast model. Now the reason why I got this, actually I'm not looking for a JDM 1:18 scale, because I know how ridiculous the price of those diecast model, because they were such in high demand and highly sought after by diecast collectors and willing to pay premium price, especially if they are in a limited number. Like this, for example, this is not a really special edition or limited production, but they stopped manufacturing this diecast model, the Evo 8 Fast and Furious edition, but it's still highly sought after, I think, by some collectors, because of course the trend is still going, the JDM fad. Now I bought this diecast model 4 years ago at the price of I think $55 to $60 on a second-hand market. Now this just popped out of the marketplace, and I immediately grabbed this because this was highly sought after diecast model, and I wanted a JDM 1:18 scale diecast model on my collection. So, JDM car fans, or just a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise, or just a fan of the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo itself, this car is going to be an interesting diecast model to own. Now, like I said before, this is a questionable taste if you want this kind of customization made by Jada. There are still some diecast manufacturers that makes a stock-looking Lancer Evo, but let me tell you this, it's going to be expensive. So if you're looking at a customized Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 8, especially with this kind of graphics and or livery, as they say, based on the movie itself, look no further, the 1:18 made by Jada. So guys, thank you for watching, and I hope this entertains you and informs you and helps you about this diecast model. And have a nice day.